Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Raw report for the 8th of March 2021. Just a small note: as the network migrates to Peacock over the next 3 or 4 months, I will have less access to old school footage from what I've read. So that may mean we start covering Independence as a sideline, which is a project I wanted to do anyway. If there are any independent promotions you want to see covered, please comment below and we'll make that happen for you. In any event, tonight's Raw, as always, is just a gobbledygook mess of, well, gobbledygook. And in comparison to the disjointed AEW pay-per-view, not exactly thrilled with being a wrestling fan at this particular moment. That will pass, but right now, yeah, I wonder why I watch this stuff. So there's a recap of last week's show long angle with Bobby Lashley winning the championship. They cut to the Hurt Business. They're walking through backstage. They're walking around in suits. Sarah approaches them, and Lashley mentions how happy he was. He's been through a bunch of obstacles and backstage politics and all sorts of other things. He's glad that he finally got a shot. He gets his shot, and he made sure to punish The Miz. He's going to make an example of The Miz right now and send a message to the rest of the locker room. And supposedly the almighty era has begun. Miz enters ring with Morrison for his title rematch. He runs his mouth about all he's done for the company while never getting injured. He deserved the benefit of the doubt, and he said he had a stomach issue last week and should have gotten a benefit of the doubt. He says he defended the title successfully last week, but lost by countout. He admitted he was shady about the whole thing, but he still feels justified. He continues to recap everything we just saw in the opening video package, talk about killing more time. There's a commercial for WrestleMania tickets going on sale with the tagline, back in business. We're not really back in business, but okay, guys. Anyway, Bobby Lashley with MVP defeats The Miz with John Morrison in 9 minutes or just a little after. Lashley's entrance includes some lightning effects, and Drew McIntyre's watching the match backstage. Miz tries avoiding Lashley. Lashley catches him, hits a delayed vertical suplex. Miz avoids a charge, and Lashley goes for the shoulder first into the post. Miz also runs Lashley into the post, but Lashley runs him over with a clothesline. This leads to a break 2 minutes later into the title match. So why even have the match? Anyway, Lashley remains in control. He tosses Miz around a bit. Small, brief comeback attempt by The Miz. Miz gets sent into the post. Lashley hits a flat line and a spine buster. Applies the Hurt Lock for submission win. This basically killed 9 minutes and some commercial time before going back to, well, more of nothing. Backstage, McIntyre tells Sarah that he's the only worthy challenger. He's angry about Lashley attacking him and costing him the title, only to beat Miz of all people to win it, and McIntyre himself beat Brock Lesnar for the title. Remind us of what happened a year ago? Why, sure, you can. McIntyre questioned Lashley's previous passion and heart, and Sheamus attacks McIntyre, continuing a feud that no one cares about, tosses him into the equipment boxes, and threatens to make McIntyre miserable. Sheamus leaves, McIntyre gets up, tosses junk around, and it is what it is. McIntyre at least shows good fire about being dissatisfied with what's happening to him, but he's still made to look like a geek. Anyway, so Rhea Ripley's coming to Raw, apparently. After the break, Adam Pearce approaches McIntyre. McIntyre doesn't even allow him to speak. And then R-Truth approaches Braun Strowman in the back. Truth said Bugs Bunny has gone to the dark side and joined with Morrison, so he needed his own monster to get his baby back. Truth does some stupid comedy. Strowman cuts him off, telling him he's going to the ring to demand an apology from Shane McMahon. Truth then put on shades, tries zapping him like Men in Black, ran off when it didn't work. Anyway, we go to a commercial for NXT, which includes a massive announcement from Regal being hyped. Apparently that's the women's tag belts. Yeah, not so massive. Anyway, Braun Strowman, Shane McMahon in a segment, which, does anyone really care about Shane or Braun at this point? Strowman enters, complain about Shane McMahon. Strowman knew that he could snap Shane in half if he wanted to. He also knew that Shane could fire him. Ultimately, so Strowman yells and demands Shane show him respect, to give him an apology. Shane gets right in Strowman's face. I apologize, he says. And then Byron Saxton says that's it. Shane leaves. Shane teased that he had more to say, but he just leaves. So this is the first hour, and literally, I feel like I've watched 3 hours of complete junk. Anyway, we see WWE wish Bad Bunny, who they're leeching off of, good luck at the Grammys. Sarah asks Shane if he wanted to elaborate on what he was about to say earlier. Shane said, maybe later. He goes away. No disqualification match. Drew McIntyre and Sheamus ends in a no contest ref stoppage in just under 19 and a half minutes. Anyway, McIntyre attacks Sheamus during the entrance, and then match gets started. When they hit the ring, they fight back and forth. McIntyre misses ducks a kendo stick attack by Sheamus. McIntyre slams him on the steel steps. Sheamus kicks him in the middle rope, Sheamus kicks the middle rope into McIntyre's groin, and then beats him up with a kendo stick some more. Sheamus attacks with a rolling senton for near fall. McIntyre comes back with an overhead suplex and neckbreaker. McIntyre attacks with a kendo stick and uses it for Russian leg sweep for near fall. Sheamus posted McIntyre and slams him onto the announce table, which led to a break. Sheamus then hits a back breaker and tries to apply the cloverleaf. McIntyre comes back with a spinebuster for a near fall, follows with a superplex for a 2 count. Why are we doing so many moves in a feud that, the guys care about it because they're friends, but do you honestly think people are tuning in to see Sheamus and McIntyre? Probably not. Anyway, Sheamus posts McIntyre, sends him into the announce table. That leads to a break. Sheamus, after applying the cloverleaf, goes for white noise for near fall. Sheamus grabs a chair. McIntyre seems to punch him in the face pretty hard. Legit. McIntyre hits him with a chair, gives him a future shock DDT for a 2 count. McIntyre tries the Claymore kick. Sheamus chucks the chair at his face and goes for strike for near fall. Sheamus wedges the chair between the turnbuckle. McIntyre sends him into it, and it explodes off the ropes with Claymore. Sheamus fell out of the ring. McIntyre struggles to get back to hit the ring, and Sheamus comes back with a brogue kick. They grab some steps, steel steps, charge at each other. It looks stupid. They play fake "This is awesome" chants. Ref check on both guys, and they didn't respond. Ref calls for the bell, asks for help, and they play a bunch of replays. This is just, it's not even good if it's a movie scene. Anyway, Randy Orton, Alexa Bliss video package. Then Kevin Patrick, who is a new interviewer, interviews AJ Styles in the back. Styles ignores his questions because he wants to talk about Orton. He laughs about Orton being the victim of voodoo magic. And then Orton asks if there's something funny about a grown man having his mind messed with. Styles thought, this is weak. Orton wants a match tonight so he could show that he's not weak. Styles accepts and warns Orton that he might have an even bigger problem than implying that it's almost on his hands. Orton's pleased with all of this. Anyway, New Day will face Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander for the tag titles next week. So apparently they want us to care about something that happens a week from now. Xavier Woods with Kofi Kingston defeats Shelton Benjamin with Cedric Alexander in 3 3/4 minutes. New Day has Mortal Kombat level gear. Kofi is dressed as Scorpion. Woods is dressed as Sub-Zero. They have the MK logo on the gear, except there's a unicorn silhouette instead of a dragon. I don't know if this is gimmick infringement, but at least it's entertaining. Most entertaining thing on the show has been their gear. Benjamin hits a stiff knee for near fall, and Woods comes back with some chops and strikes and a couple of forearms. Benjamin knocks him down with a boot. Benjamin turns attention to Kingston. Woods rolls him up for a pinfall win. This is just goofy. We have roll-ups just for the sake of roll-ups. Then Riddle tells Sarah that Retribution wouldn't be able to distract him in the match tonight. He's more concerned about where to park his scooter. Really? A fighter needs a scooter? Anyway, he left the back once and gets a ticket. If it's at ringside, Mustafa Ali might break it. Riddle asked her if she had any ideas, and she doesn't have any ideas because all the announcers are mindless. Anyway, New Day walks in the interviews, and Riddle asked if they play Call of Duty, or if they can play Call of Duty later. So, basically, this chill guy wants to kill things on a screen. Anyway, they said they'd be ready to play after he beats Slapjack. Riddle asks them to watch his scooter, and they're more than happy to do so. Riddle defends the U.S. title against Ali next week, so next week seems to be pretty important. I wonder why. Anyway, U.S. Champion Riddle defeats Slapjack with Mustafa Ali in just under 4 minutes. Riddle basically is going crazy out of the gate with some suplexes and strikes. He goes for the penalty kick on the apron. Slapjack blocks it and drops him on the apron. Slapjack hits a few suplexes himself and hits a decent enough dropkick for the two. Riddle blocks a missile dropkick and hits the final flash knee. Near fall. Why that knee isn't a knockout, I have no idea. Slapjack kicks Riddle. After 2 count, Riddle then fights back with a knee strike and the Bo Derek and pinfall win. This was completely forgettable. Ali admonishes Slapjack post-match. Pierce approaches Shane in the back. Pierce asks Shane about what he's about to say earlier. Shane restricts that, and Pierce politely backs off. Shane admitted he had something to say to Strowman and asked Pierce to go get him. We enter the 3rd hour with no more enjoyment than the first 2. Anyway, Shane and Braun Strowman have another segment because we don't know how to fill with actually things that matter. Shane's in the ring after the break. They pipe in chants for him. And Strowman enters. Shane acts like the mic isn't working. He backs away up the ramp. Shane breathes heavily, and Strowman wants to know why he's out here. Shane stalls. He stands there. And then Shane purposely starts stuttering and makes fun of his name. This segment's going nowhere fast. This makes Strowman angry. Shane runs away to the back, and Shane's running to an SUV. SUV takes off. Strowman left. Shane reappeared and called Strowman stupid again. This is just horrible. They replay the Nia Jax saying my whole deal before losing to Lana in a tables match. Okay, so Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler with Reginald. I guess that means that Reginald's with Nia now. defeats Naomi and Lana to retain the women's tag team champions in about 7 3/4 minutes. Jack enters with Reginald. She feels bad for him after he got fired by Carmella, and she knows a thing or two about wine. She calls him cute. This is horrible. Jackson Baszler corners Lana on the outside. Naomi yells for Lana to move out of the way. She wipes out the champs with a corkscrew dive. There's 2 minutes in the match. They go to a break, and they beat up Lana's arm while they're gone. Lana kicks Baszler and then tag Naomi in, and she takes out Baszler before hitting Jax with a series of kicks. Baszler breaks up the cover. Reginald grabs Naomi's leg and comes off the ropes with, so she stops and then tags in Lana. Lana drop kicked Reginald as Naomi held him by the hand, and Jax runs over both Lana and Naomi before giving Lana a powerbomb for the pinfall win. Jax carries Reginald away to try to, I guess, protect him. Anyway, Sarah appears again, approaches Orton, mentions several wrestlers are concerned about his well-being, and Orton is surprised to hear that, and also surprised to hear he has any friends. He thought that's funny considering that none of them actually approach him. He says Styles needs to be worried about getting an RKO. Really, AJ Styles is dead in the water. Randy Orton is playing with voodoo priestess girl over here. It's horrible. Anyway, Schreiber's interviews Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. I haven't seen them in forever. They wanted to be taken seriously as a team, so I guess they should have not been booked horribly for the last 6 months. And as individuals, Charlotte Flair joins the segment to remind them that she wanted a title shot at WrestleMania. Rose said they did too. Charlotte said they have 5 weeks to prepare and to prove their case. Kevin Patrick asked Styles if he regrets his comments. Styles says no. He says Orton should be focused on The Fiend or Alexa Bliss or whatever, and Styles planned on handing him a loss heading into WrestleMania. They go to break, and this is the main event of the show. Anyway, Orton with almost defeats Randy Orton in 15 and a half minutes. Orton takes over on Styles early, suplexes him onto the announcer's table. Orton becomes distracted by Almost. Styles nails him with a springboard forearm. That goes to a break. Styles then manages to stay in control until Orton comes back with a right hand clothesline power slam for a near fall, follows by a backbreaker for a near fall. Orton sets up the superplex, but Styles slinks out at a 2 count and drops Orton on the turnbuckle. Styles goes for a springboard. Orton trips him. Styles then blocks a draping DDT, applies a calf crusher. Styles lets go. Orton gets close to the ropes, and Orton follows up with an uppercut and a draping DDT of his own. Orton sets up the RKO, almost pulls Styles from the ring. Alexa Bliss appears on the screen, and the lights turn purple. Bliss lights a match, blows it out. That causes a bunch of pyro to go off, and then on a couple corners of the ring, Orton begins coughing up black goo again. Styles hits a phenomenal forearm for the pinfall win. Bliss laughs as Orton looks on, and this storyline will not die. My love for wrestling may die, but this storyline will not. In any event, I recapped in 20 minutes what would have taken you 3 hours to watch. We'll have more of the Smoky Mountain series very soon. Until then, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment.